Okay, so what we learned is when things have the same base as a 6 and this you're multiplying, and add the exponents together. So this is like 6 and 4 plus 2 going to be 6 sixth power. Okay? All right, the next one learned that if there's just a plain c or plain variable that has a 1 behind it, 1c. And so I would go ahead and add 9 plus 1, and that would give me c to the, sorry, there's a slight delay. There we go. Okay, then I put numbers in front of it, and I said, okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take care of the y's. Y, have a 7 plus an 8, and 7 plus 8 is going to give me 15. And then I'm going to multiply my numbers. So 2 times 9 is 18. And then the last one was like the challenge ones that I gave you yesterday. These all have u's, so since they're all the same, I can combine them. I'm going to add all of the numbers together. So 2 and 6 and 5 would make 13. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my numbers together. So this is a -4, a +2, which would be -8 times this -3, which would make it +24. Okay, so those were the things that we learned yesterday. And I said that was part 1. So I didn't want to overwhelm you because now I'm going to have another set of rules tacked onto this. These rules will not change. Okay, so our focus question from yesterday, okay, was the big idea that we were working on is how can you apply what you know about multiplying? We said this meant numbers and then change it into algebra. So we were going to work with exponents, change numbers into letters basically. All right, so go ahead and go to your digits book. I want you guys to open up to page 55. We're going to be in the top box on page 55. And I'm going to go through these examples here with you, and then we'll try one. All right, these are powers to powers. So go ahead and write down A, B, and C in that top box. And we're going to talk about what this means, and then I'll show you what the rule is. All right, so if I'm looking at regular numbers, and I say I have 6 squared, what does 6 squared mean? 6 times 6, right? I have 2 of them? Okay, so if I say that I have 10 to the 3rd power, and I have it squared, that means I have 2 10 to the 3rd. So this is really this. Does this make sense to you? That if this is squared, it looks like this. This is squared, it looks like that. And then what did I do yesterday if I had it looking like this? Add it together. So that would be 10 to the 6th power. Does anyone see a shortcut? Quinn?
You multiply the 2 and 3.
Yep. You're going to multiply these bad boys right there. 2 times 3 is 6. Because that's what multiplication means. I have 2 groups of 3, and that would be 6. Okay? So now let's apply this, like I said in the focus question, to an algebraic expression. What would that be, Gavin? Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I explained here. That you have 6 squared, so you have 2 of them. This is 10 to the 3rd to the 2nd power, so I have 2 of them, which would be 10 to the x, or 10 to the 6th. All right, anybody think they know what b should be? Myron?
X6.
X to the 6th?
Yeah.
You sure?
That's no. X to the 12th.
X to the 12th. Very good. Because all I have to do is multiply when it's a power to a power, I just have to multiply. All right, and then letter C. Caleb? A to the 30th. All right, go ahead and try your got it over here. All right, raise your hand if you think you've got it. Irena? Very good. G to the 54th. Okay? All right, you go, well, that seems pretty simple. All right, so let's make it a little bigger. And really, each of these rules by themselves is not that bad. It's when I start putting it all together that it gets hard. So that's why we want to make sure we know every rule that I'm teaching you guys. All right, so this should be in the bottom box on page 55. And then I'm going to show you why the trick works on the first one, and then we'll use some shortcuts. All right, do you guys agree this is 3CD squared to the second power? And squared means I have it 2 times, right? So do you guys think that this would be 3CD times 3CD? Okay, so now let's think back to what we did last night. We can multiply our numbers. 3 times 3 is, careful, 9. How would I write C times C?
1.
C what? C to the second, because it would be C times C would be C. How do I write D times D? C to the second. Okay, now let's see if we see any shortcuts. That would be it. That's all I can do. All right, does anybody see any shortcuts so I don't have to write it out each time? Gavin? No, I can't. Those have to stay separate because it's 2 C's and 2 D's. Kurt? Okay. Quinn? Ooh, very good. We basically distribute the 2. We're going to give that 2 to each thing on the inside. Because 3 squared is 9. You're going to give the 2 to the C and make it C squared. And you're going to give the 2 to the D and make it D squared. Do you see that? All right, so let's try to apply that trick to letter B. So we're going to give the 3 to each of these pieces on the inside. So here, here, and here. And these are, so we're going to start off with the first one. So we're going to take 5 to the 3rd power. Now, what did I just teach you on the last slide? What do we do when their power's 2 powers? Do we add them?
No,
Multiply them when their power's 2 powers. So 2 times 3 would make this m to the 6th. And now we're going to do, we got into the 3rd to the 3rd, so how much is that going to be? 9. And then now we need to go ahead and figure out what 5 to the 3rd is. Myron?
15.
Nope, more than that. 5 times 5 times 5.
Oh.
125. Okay? Alright, I want you guys to try that on the Got It and see if you're understanding. Alright, are we ready to talk about it? Alright, so this would be 2 to the 4th. S to the what power? 20, because we're going to take 4 times 5. And then T to the what power? 36. And now we need to go ahead and do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 16. So 16, S to the 20th, T to the 36. How many of you guys got that one right? Very good. So we're about a little over half. All right, that was the last thing for us to talk about.